to call this regular meeting of council for March the 14th, 2022 to order at 7 p.m. I would like to recognize that we're on the traditional land of Mississauga Cree Nation, homeland of the Métis, and that we are all treaty people. Thank you. I'd like to ask for an approval of the agenda. Deputy Mayor Lundmark, Councillor Valentino, all those in favor?
Aye.
We're going to go for adoption of the minutes. 4.1 is a regular meeting of council, February 28th, 2022. Resolution 2022-039, moved by Councillor Ellsworth, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lundmark. Be it resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held in council chambers, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba, on Monday, February 28th, 2022, be adopted as circulated. Administration, any concerns?
Nothing further.
Council? Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Five point two, resolution to approve the amendment to the 2021 fee and fine schedule for Norman Marstar.
Did you do the committee of the whole?
Oh, pardon me. Committee of the whole meeting, 4.2. Minutes for March 7, 2022. Resolution 2022-040, moved by Deputy Mayor Lundmark, seconded by Councillor McMurdo. Be it resolved that the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting held in Council Chambers, City Hall, Thompson, Manitoba, on Monday, March 7, 2022, be adopted as circulated. Administration?
Nothing further.
Council? Call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Now we move into resolutions. 5.1, a motion to lift from the table resolution 2022-024. Do I have a motion to lift this resolution from the table? Yes. You're moved by Councillor Colburn.
I was the one who tabled
North Stars.
it. Yeah.
And seconder. Councillor Valentino, all those in favor? Thank you.
Aye.
Now with this resolution, there has been amended, so I'm resolution 2022-024. It as moved from the table by Councillor Colburn and Councillor Valentino. Be it resolved that council approve the amendment to page 35 and 36 of the 2021 fee and fine schedule attached here to as Appendix A amended. Do I have a, how do I have to have a mover or just an agreement to that?
It should be a friendly amendment to
A friendly amendment?
as amended.
Okay, is everybody okay with the friendly amendment to this? It was an amendment of section 8, and I see by a show of hands, please.
Aye.
Administration, anything further?
Yes, this item has been brought forward starting back with the previous Recreation Committee. It was a request from the Norman North Stars to make their fees more in line with other hockey teams that are in the community. And council did a review of the recommendations brought forward the Director of Recreation and Community Services. There's a number of changes to the fee and fine schedule that are attached and changes between resident and non-resident fees. That's been reviewed at the Committee of the Whole and recommended forward for council to pass this evening by resolution.
Thank you. Councillor Colbert, did you have any comments?
Yeah, I don't mind giving the North Stars a break. They're an attraction to the community. But all I say is just be fair to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillors? Comments? Councillor Fountain?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Along with these changes, there was supposed to be a policy change with respect to how time is allotted. I haven't seen that change come through, nor do I see it here. In the absence of that, I won't be supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you. Did we, Anthony, did you hear Councillor Falcon?
Yes, I took note of his comments. The director is working on policy changes to be brought forward to a committee of the whole for review by council. Those will be changes to the ICE booking policy.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Valentino?
Yeah, so I can put a little context into some of this. I think that it's almost two issues. The North Stars in 2008, when the TRCC was being renovated, we had one ice surface. So they had to play their season in the Gordon Beard Arena, and that's where they lost a lot of their fan base, and they've never recouped it. So their fan base used to be where it could support that they had a lot of extra fans there. So the city needed to have more people on staff, so they were charged more for their ice. Because they could never recoup that amount of people back, their attendance has dropped drastically. So this just didn't come up in this fall. It's been brought up numerous times from the North Star board since 2008 that it wasn't a level playing field for their youth. They are a youth team. So this just cleans up the actual charges for ice. For youth under the age of 18, everybody just pays the same, which is exactly what makes it fair for everybody, like Councillor Colburn said. And the one stipulation in there is that for all tournaments, and even for like North Star games, like there's a Valley night and home opener, when they have the big crowd, the city will have to put on an extra member of staff, but the organizations will know that ahead of time so that they can budget properly. So this just cleans this all up that way. In regards to the ICE allocation policy and how that's used, typically there's always a user group meeting. There's only the 4 user groups left right now that meet in the spring. Everything revolves around the North Star schedule. When that comes from the league in July, then everybody else below that, figure skating, Thompson minor hockey, used to be ringette, will book accordingly. So cleaning up the ice allocation schedule also means that Thompson minor hockey gives their ice up by Tuesday nights or Wednesday morning to our TRCC staff. So then any free ice from teams that are traveling can be put into a pot for the public to rent or use. So we can be able to utilize that better. So I think there's 2 different issues. The ice allocation schedule really has nothing to do with cleaning up the ice booking or the ice cost for booking a slot of ice. So I'm definitely supporting this, and it's been many years to fix this fee and fine schedule up for user groups for ice booking. So I'm glad to see this finally be cleaned up. I'll be definitely supporting it.
Thank you. Any other comment? Councillor Pelman?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So previous to this, my understanding was that the North Stars had a contract with the city of Thompson for ice. I haven't been in the rec committee. I've seen that a few times, come across my plate. What we're seeing here is an organization that's going to have priority, as Councillor Valentino was pointed out, for booking ice above all others. We'll collect fees for you to come and watch, be in attendance, yet still gets the priority for ice booking. I don't believe that that's fair personally, and I'm open to hearing where I'm wrong, but from what I've seen so far, that's the summary of what's happening tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Valentino.
Just to clarify that, I sat on the North Star board for 23 years. There's never been an ice contract with the city of Thompson with the Norman North Stars. They have a dressing room contract and they pay for storage for rooms, but they don't have a separate ice contract and they don't have special preference. The user groups meet as a group and they wait for the North Star schedule because they are the biggest user group in the sense that they have the most people that attend. So it shouldn't matter for a group. We run now AAA regional teams at even a younger level than the North Stars. They charge at the gate. It doesn't matter. It's what the cost of the ice is what you pay. Nowhere else do you go and, oh, you charge at the gate, so your ice is this much. Oh, you don't charge at the gate. So 2 years ago, some people had silver collections because they were scared if they charge at the gate, they're going to be charged more for ice. It's ridiculous. This cleans it right up. One Cup would charge at the gate. They are a priority. They get that entire weekend. They would play on Easter. They were a priority. So it's important that our user groups, the 4 user groups, communicate with our rec director and our rec staff, and they make the schedule. There's not a special preference, and there's definitely not an ice contract that the North Stars have with the city of Thompson.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Ellsworth.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want some clarification. That's an awful lot of passion around the arena, so I'm not gonna get into that. Do I understand the city manager, he made a statement that we're going to be reviewing the policy? And if that's what he's saying, is the policy going to talk about whether there's preference or not? Because it sure sounds like to me, if you say to one team, you go ahead first, then everyone else want to come in and look around you, it's a preference, call it what you like. I'm not hung up on that, I just want to know if that's what we're going to discuss in the future in a policy. That's the question.
Anthony?
Yes, the policy directs the staff on how they book, so that's what will be coming towards council for review, and any changes that council might want to make to that policy. So it tells the staff how they allocate that ice.
So to follow up, if I could, Madam Mayor, so really, it really has no bearing on this resolution.
No.
It's not about that, it's about the policy, correct? I just want to be clear.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Carried, thank you. Five point three is a resolution to approve the option to purchase lot 106, Plan 777 PLPO, North Division 20 Pelican Crescent. Resolution 2022-041, moved by Councillor Wong, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lundmark. Whereas the city is in receipt of an option to purchase application for lot 30, block 106, Plan 777 PLPO, approximately 7,743 square feet for Meta Building Supplies Corp. Re-NCN Builders. And whereas at the in-camera meeting of council held on February 22nd, 2022, council reviewed the option to purchase application and is in agreement with the option to purchase and conditions set out therein. Now therefore be it resolved that council grant the option to purchase for lot 30, block 106, Plan 777 PLPO at a total cost of $17,421.75 plus GST. City manager?
Yes, the city's been approached by Meta Builders, or Building Supplies Corp, for the purchase of 2 lots in the community for development of residential housing. This first resolution deals with the lot at 20 Pelican, which has not been built on many years. As noted, this administration was sent back by council to negotiate and has brought back the price that was then recommended through the in-camera meeting and now the committee of the whole to the regular meeting of council for approval by resolution.
Thank you, Councillor Wong.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think somehow when the city is sitting on empty land, and we're not going to get money for it. So now, based on the price the counter offer, which is like way better than the first offer, so I think there's no reason to reject that. And moving forward, I think we try to encourage more people to invest into those city-owned land, so we can develop a better housing and stuff like that in Thompson. So I will definitely support this offer, and thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Ellsworth?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's good to see 20 Pelican coming up. I've heard 20 Pelican come up before in committees where it wasn't such a good conversation. And now that we're going to sell it, then as Councillor Wong says, get some taxes of that open or helps to lessen the burden of other taxpayers down the road. We get enough of them. It's a good news story and I certainly will support it.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments? Okay. Yes, I do agree with economic development. It's definitely a good news story for the city of Thompson. So we're following that. I'll ask for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
5.4 is a resolution to approve the option to purchase lot 1, block 18, plan 739, PLPO, North Division, 99 Juniper Drive. Resolution 2022042, moved by Councillor Wong, seconded by Councillor McMurdo. Whereas the city is in receipt of an option to purchase application for lot 1, block 18, plan 739, PLPO, North Division, approximately 8,125 square feet for Mita Building Supplies Corp. Operating NCN Builders. And whereas at the in-camera meeting of council held on February 22nd, 2022, council reviewed the option to purchase application as in agreement with the option to purchase and conditions set out therein. Now, therefore, be it resolved that council grant the option to purchase for lot 1, block 18, plan 739, PLPO, North Division, at a total cost of $18,281.25 plus GST. Administration?
Yes, further to the previous one, this is the second property that Mita has requested. It is at 99 Juniper Drive. That's the former location of the original Juniper Center many years ago. It's a residential area that you can build multiplex, so between 2 to 4. And same as the last one, we went through the negotiations based on council's direction and got the builder to come up in the price that they offered. And the recommendation from the committee of the whole is that this passed this evening by resolution.
Thank you. Councillor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's the same reason. I think this land been sitting for quite some time. There used to be, I believe, a school back in the day, but now it's finally got developed, and good to see more newer houses in Thompson. And the bottom part is we start getting some revenue out of the land. So I will support that again. Thank you.
Thank you. Other councillors? Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, I'll be supporting this. Is another good news story. As my fellow councilors have said, and in this case, another multiplex in the Juniper area, which is kind of nice. Just glad to see some development.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments? Seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor of this resolution?
Aye.
Carried. .5 is a resolution to approve the option to purchase lot 3, block 1, plan 43392 PLTO, Moat Crescent. Resolution 2022043, moved by Deputy Mayor Lundmark, seconded by Councillor Ellsworth. Whereas the city is in receipt of an option to purchase application for lot 3, block 1, plan 43392 PLPO, approximately 32,754 square feet for 115000201 Canada Limited. And whereas at the Committee of the Whole meeting council held February 7th, 2022, council reviewed the option to purchase application and is in agreement with the option to purchase and the conditions set out therein. Now therefore be it resolved that council grant the option to purchase for lot 3, block 1, plan 43392 PLPO at a cost of $98,262 plus GST. Administration?
Yes, the developer 115000201 Canada Limited has approached the city to purchase 2 lots. These are lots on Moat Crescent behind the Scotiabank, behind the Safeway. This first lot here for lot 3 is for the development of a future dental clinic. This is the option to purchase, which will then require a development agreement afterwards. The second lot, which will be next, is for a separate use.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Lundmark?
Yeah, Sure. Glad to see this. Yeah, as long as any of us have been around, that field's been empty, and I think this closes it up after all these years. And glad to see some more development and appreciate it. Good news. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, council? Again, I think this is great news for our economic development here in Thompson, and good for the north, getting some more dental services here. With that, I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. 5.6 is a resolution to approve the option to purchase lot 5, block 1 plan 43392 PLTO, Moke Crescent. Resolution 2022-044, moved by Councillor Ellsworth, seconded by Councillor McMurdo. Whereas the city is in receipt of an option to purchase application for lot 5, block 1 plan 43392 PLTO, approximately 42,318 square feet for 115-00201 Canada Limited. And whereas at the Committee of the Whole meeting of Council on February 7th, 2022, Council reviewed the option to purchase application and is in agreement with the option to purchase and the conditions set out therein. Now therefore be it resolved that Council grant the option to purchase for lot 5, block 1 plan 43392 PLTO at a total cost of $126,984 plus GST. Administration?
Yes, further to the previous one, this is purchased by the same company, 115-00201 Canada Limited, for lot 5. On lot 5, there'll be registered in the future an easement for roadway to access lot 3, which will then become permanent, as well as the development of a commercial complex with the suggestion of housing on top of that. That'll require future zoning changes for the housing portion, but that would come as part of the development agreement later.
Thank you. Councillor Ellsworth?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, certainly I'm going to support it, but I'd like to make a couple comments on this. First of all, this is the fourth one now in a row for option to purchase. That is certainly good news for the city of Thompson as we see not only residential, but commercial being built. Long overdue. I drove by today watching Ford is coming along. That certainly helps the public to realize that there's a future in Thompson. The only thing I say, and I'm not sure if it's a negative, it's this. We got to be the slowest level of government in history because we need to move these faster. Some of those have been discussed for some time. So we collectively, along with mayor and council administration, is got to be able to move when people request for land to build either residential, commercial, so that we don't lose them. Because eventually they might just move on to another community. I think we're heading in the right direction. And I think if we continue to work on it, you'll see a lot more people purchasing land. And that certainly goes a long ways for our taxpayers again. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Valentino?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that this is the first time that I've been sitting here where we've had 4 land purchases in one council meeting. And to Councillor Ellsworth's point, yeah, this is a great news story for Thompson. I think it clearly shows that the city of Thompson is open for business and we're open for development. However, we don't have a lot of land inventory. So I think the next step is we need to, as a mayor and council and with our admin team, look at our land space that we have, and maybe it's something we need to start looking at within the province to annex some of the land that's outside of us so that we can continue to grow, because clearly there's a good future right now ahead for all of us here in the city. Thank you, Mayor Smith.
Thank you. Any other comments? Thank you. Seeing none, we'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Five point 7 is a resolution directing administration to submit a formal review on the 2021 census. Resolution 2022-045, moved by Deputy Mayor Lundmark, seconded by Councillor Valentino. Whereas Statistics Canada 2021 census population and swelling count date was released February the 9th, 2022. And whereas the data indicates that the city of Thompson population declined 4.7% from 13,678 in the 2016 census to 13,035 in the 2021 census. And whereas a decline in population count adversely affects funding provided by the province of Manitoba. And whereas council believes that there is a significant error in the population and dwelling count shown in the 2021 census, given the overwhelming indicators of lack of housing and the extremely low rental vacancy rate in the city. Now therefore be it resolved that council direct the administration to submit a formal review of the population and swelling counts to Statistics Canada prior to the deadline of December 31st, 2022. Administration?
Yes, as noted in the resolution, this is a request for a formal review of Statistics Canada's 2021 census of the Canadian population for the city of Thompson. As it's noted, the numbers have indicated a drop of 4.7%, though the data in the community showing the rental housing availability does not support those sorts of changes. There's also severe funding implications for the city, and therefore the recommendation is that council pass this so that the work can be done for a formal review and trying to get those numbers boosted, which would support the city's base funding.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Lundmark?
Yeah, I completely agree with this. I'll be supporting this. I've seen this happen in my career with other smaller communities where these changes or the census not being done completely, not taking everything into account and making sure that they're counting everybody has really affected the community by the change in the amount of funding that the communities are getting for all the population that they're trying to assist. And I'm certain that they're wrong on this one, and I really hope that we see the results that we believe are true.
Thank you. Councilor McMurdo?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Smoot. I'll certainly be supporting this as well. In keeping with some of the remarks from Councilor Lundmark and our city manager, I think it has important implications for the next few years between this census and the future. So getting all the money we can in terms of transfer from the upper levels of government is certainly important to our community. So in support. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councilor Elford?
Madam Mayor, thank you. Can we have the city manager explain to the public how this is going to be done? Because is that going to be possibly someone going to door? Or are we just going to be looking at the numbers, reviewing and making a case that we think they're wrong? How is this going to work? And if so, what is the cost? And I certainly, before we go on, I'm certainly in support of it. I just need the public to understand how that's going to take place.
Thank you. City manager?
Yes, there's multiple ways this can be done. One, as you noted, the city could hire an enumerator to try to do a recount. There's other ways of collecting data through the housing numbers and numbers in the community as indicators and provide those to Statistics Canada. That's what was done in the past, where the city hired someone to put that data together and send it off to Statistics Canada, at which point they revise their numbers. Then also just note for council, one change with the 2021 census was due to COVID. It was not done door to door. It was done by mailing and then expected to be done by internet. So for those who were not tech savvy, a number have indicated they were unable or did not respond without assistance.
Thank you.
I want to follow up on Madam Mayor. Certainly agree to the comments that was made. Two things for me. Number one, first of all, is that whatever we do has to be communicated properly to the public so they're on board, they understand. So whichever method, if we're just going to do a calculation internally, get it, but certainly if it's door to door, it certainly is going to be communicated, or else we set ourselves up for failure. And two, one of the points that was made, I can tell you as one person there, I did a lot of census for people in Thompson because it wasn't the easiest thing or friendliest method to do it. Not everyone can do a census, not everyone can do a taxes. You'll be amazed that if we were to open an office in Thompson for that kind of work, I bet you'd have a lineup. So I'm glad that we're gonna have another look at it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Valentino?
Thank you, Mayor Smith. Yeah, I'm gonna be supporting this because I feel that how they did this through COVID was a real disadvantage to many people, especially elderly. I also tried to help people as much as I could. And I think we owe it to people that maybe couldn't or didn't have the ability to fill this out properly, that we still can count for them, because they matter at the end of the day with our total number. And I think we have a good blueprint from the mayor and council of the day in 2011, who went through this exact same process, and they were able to increase their number. So I'm definitely happy to see we can do this, and I believe the deadline is December 31st of this year to get our information in for the formal review. So yeah, I'll be supporting this. Thank you.
Thank you. Further comments, councillors? Okay, yes, I personally did reached out, or people reached out to me, and I helped even just through the mayor's office. Folks that I didn't know, that I either found a friend or I actually some come in, or I went to their place and did it for them. Also, I knew by the folks from the census office were in regular contact with us to get our information out on the radio. I was mentioning it on Thursday because I knew they were missing a population. So with the COVID, with not going door to door, it's definitely has hurt us. So I too am going to support this and look forward to the recount. So seeing no other questions, I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Five point eight is a resolution to approve the valet gift agreement asset management program. Resolution 2022-046, moved by Deputy Mayor Lundmark, seconded by Councillor Ellsworth. Be it resolved that the council authorize administration to enter into a gift agreement between Valet Canada Limited and the City of Thompson. City Manager?
As noted, Valet Canada offered the City of Thompson $125,000 in 2022 for the support of Council's strategic plan for asset management software. It was announced on January 27th, and that money was then used by Council to back the purchase of Lucity by Resolution 2022-015, and that was with Central Square Technologies for the enterprise asset management software and its deployment over this coming year. We've received the standard contract from Valet, which we've signed in the past for other recreation purposes and other uses at the city, and there's a resolution here to support the signing of this agreement.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Lundmark.
Yep, thank you. I'll definitely be supporting this. I really appreciate this. This is an item that all of council, I think, has been talking about since the beginning of our term, is asset management. I know myself and Councillor Wong on the Public Works Committee at the beginning of our term, and the things that we thought was very important. And I think we talked about it when we discussed our 4 years of what we wanted to do. This is one of the items I'm looking forward to, an asset management system. I hope that we get to see it before we're done, but at least we're moving forward on it, and I hope we don't have too many glitches, but sure it'll help in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Other councillors? Councillor Thompson?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to point out, due to the obvious conflict of interest, I will be refraining from commenting and voting on this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Ellsworth?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm not going to reiterate all the comments was made, but I think asset management, as some of them have said, is long overdue. We get into a lot of discussion, a lot of debate, because we just don't know. And we've got to take someone else's word for a lot of the things that we do. I'm open, and I believe that asset management will bring forward a lot of things, including our inventory and stuff like that. So we'll know when things are bought, when they should be replaced. And it'll also keep us up to date when we are talking. For example, one of the ones that gets to me, it got me when my past life when I was out working in the mines was the same thing. If we got things on the shelf that we know is needed, not one or two, but if it's needed 10, we get 10. Whereas now, you're not sure if you're gonna have that many, or if, you know, we run out, we see some of the roads closed down because we don't have the parts, we don't have this, we don't have that. I believe asset management will certainly take us down that road where we know about that. And so I have no issue with supporting that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman McMurdo.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. I'm happy to see the asset management program moving forward as well, but as a Valley employee, I will recuse myself from the vote on resolution. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other councilors, comments? Yeah, this was something that actually started coming forward in our last term of council, and we had looked into it. At that time, there wasn't a lot of programming out there. We were working with the government when we were at FCM. They were talking it up, so it got us excited. So it's nice to see basically 7.5 years later that it's actually coming to fruition through our last term of council and this one here. So I too definitely think it's a great asset, and it also goes with support from Valley for our community and how important they see the need as they use us in their program. With that, I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried, and I would like to note that Councillor Fountain and Councillor Murdo did not vote
Oh,
due to conflict.
we abstain.
Abstain, sorry, due to conflict of interest. Five point nine is a resolution to approve the tabulation of prices for the road renewal design for the city of Thompson. Resolution 2022-047, moved by Deputy Mayor Lundmark, seconded by Councillor Valentino. Be it resolved that council approve the recommendations of the purchasing agent and award the tender for road renewal design for the city of Thompson to ACOM for their tendered price of $1,567,532 plus applicable taxes as per tender file number 10322. Administration?
Yes, this is the project to support the paving through ICIP. This is the hiring of the engineers for the multi-year design behind this project. It was tendered out to the public through Merckx and had 4 responses. The technical team did the review of the responses, and 2 of the 4 did not meet the minimum score and therefore were rejected at that point. The other 2 were then evaluated on the costs matrix, and the recommendation from the team based on the combined scores is to award the work to ACOM. As it's noted, the financial implications, the total project is $1,567,532 with additional taxes, and the city of Thompson's share of that under the ICIP project would be $261,307 plus applicable taxes.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Lundmark?
Yes, I'll be supporting this. I've been looking forward to this since the beginning of our term when we started looking towards this 6-7 year project, a long-term project. Getting the funding was a great moment, and now this is the beginning of us moving forward and hiring somebody to carry out more than just 1 year at a time. Preparing the design will get us to the point where we can we'll have the tender documents ready for the following years. And having been involved in a lot of these types of projects, I'm glad to see where our administration has gone forward with this, and the thought that's been put into it, and appreciate it. And both levels of government and us and our administration and all the fellow councillors that work for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other councillors, comments? Councillor Valentino?
Yeah, I also want to say that this is a good news story that shows that we're actually moving ahead with these projects. We are actually going to pave these roads. And it's important that we continue to keep the public up to date and notified, because this is good news stories that we've got with all this grant funding we have for roads and water. So thank you to the administration team, to the Director of Development and Technical Services in going through this process. And I look forward to actually seeing this come to fruition now. Thank you, Mayor Smith.
Thank you. Any other, Councillor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a quick question, because the funding included total about $40 billion, estimation about 20 kilometers. This amount of money that use it for the engineer study and design, as there will be impact to the kilometer that budgeted or projected to be renewed. The question to the city manager.
Did you hear the question, city manager?
Yes, I heard that. No, it's not expected to impact the number of kilometers. When the previous director had put the application in, the cost of the engineering was already factored into his estimates. So that's already part of the formula of how the funding formula was developed.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Councillor Ellsworth?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want clarification for the public, certainly we can read it there. The engineering cost is for the entire project for the 5 years, correct?
That's correct. It's the engineering for the 5 years, as well as the resident services. So that's during the summer where the person comes and supervises the work from that engineering firm.
Anything else? Councillor Thompson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd be pleased to support this, of course. Just note that there are some roads that are in bad shape that may not be addressed this year. They certainly are on our radar. So in the meantime, buckle up, take a little air out of the tires and hold tight. We hope to get to those in the next year or two if we can.
Okay, thank you very much for those comments. Any other comments? Yes, again, a good news story for City of Thompson, and it's the start of the road renewal that we've known for many years has to come. Was basically the biggest project outside of the city of Winnipeg ever to be awarded. So we have the privilege of that also. So that being said, I'll call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. We're going to go into bylaws. 6.1 is first reading of bylaw 2019-2022, vote counting machine bylaw amendment. Resolution 2022-048, moved by Councillor Ellsworth, seconded by Councillor Valentino. Excuse me. Be it resolved that bylaw 2019-2022, being a bylaw of the City of Thompson, to amend bylaw 1912-2014, being a bylaw of the City of Thompson, to authorize for use of vote counting machines in the City Council and School Board elections in the City of Thompson, be introduced and read a first time. Administration?
As noted in the resolution, this is being brought forward to have a first reading of the bylaw to allow for the use of electronic vote counting machines in the upcoming election. Council still has to determine if those machines will be used, and we've sought letters on what the cost would be on those. Those would come as a separate resolution, but to even enable it 180 days before an election, the bylaw must be updated to allow their use. So just not to confuse the two issues here, this is the bylaw that allows their use. Later on, there will be a resolution that would come forward to actually use them or not.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Ellsworth?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Certainly I would support it. I heard the difference of what the city manager stated, but I will say this, I believe it's the wave of the future and has been for some time. And no one enjoys 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning counting ballots. So we can get a machine. I believe that we've seen it was dependable in the past, and we can use it again. I think that'll be the way to go. So thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Feldman?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a quick question for administration, a follow-up. If we're to proceed with this, we would put that to tender, I assume, for bids?
There's limited numbers of companies that are allowed to, so we'd solicit quotations. And then those quotations would be brought to council. And then the costs are 50% by the city, 50% by the school district.
Okay, and to follow up, so I have no issue with the use of machines to count votes. We've certainly seen there's been problems in other jurisdictions, other countries where these cause some issues. My understanding, and the administration can step in to confirm, is that the vote counting by hand is always a backup, and in the case of disputes will be used to And I imagine would be the decisive manner of counting votes in the case of problems.
Just to know, Councillor, there's a procedure under the acts that the government would require us to undertake, and that would likely be supervised by the senior elections official. If there was any dispute, it would go to the courts. So there are procedures that are established should the electronic vote counting not be successful.
And that includes hand count.
That's correct.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councilor Wong?
But anyway, I think basically this bylaw just to allow that it's an option. So this is the first reading. So at the end, it's still up to the council whether we want to use the machine or not. So there will be a separate issue. So to meet the timing, I think this is the first reading. We need to do that today. If not, then we're going to miss the vote. So this is all about, and not necessarily I agree with using the machine to count, but somehow this is a process. So thank you, Madam.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay, seeing none, call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Six point two is the second reading of bylaw 2018-2022, the campaign expense bylaw. Resolution 2022-049, moved by Deputy Mayor Lundmark, seconded by Councillor Ellsworth. Be it resolved that bylaw 2018-2022, being a bylaw of the city of Thompson to establish specific campaign finance rules, be given the second reading. Administration?
Yes, as well, getting ready for the upcoming general municipal election in October, the city is required to pass its bylaws on campaign expenses. This is to repeal the previous one and update the dates of the elections for 2022. Otherwise, there are no changes to the bylaw.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Lundmark?
Yeah, just as the.
Thank you. Any other councillors, comments? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. And with that vote being carried, we will go into the third reading of the bylaw, which will be by recorded vote. 6.3 is the third reading of bylaw 2022. Resolution 2022-050, moved by Councillor McMurdo, seconded by Councillor Valentino. Be it resolved that bylaw 2018-2022 be given third and final reading and that it now do pass. Administration?
Nothing further.
Councillor McMurdo, did you have further comment?
No, nothing to add.
Any other councillors? Okay, by recorded vote, all those in favor? I got Councillor Fountain, Councillor Wong, Councillor Valentino, Mayor Smoot, Deputy Mayor Lundmark, Councillor Ellsworth, Councillor McMurdo, Councillor Colburn.
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Six point four is the second reading of bylaw 2020-022, organization and procedural bylaw amendment. Resolution 2022-051, moved by Councillor Wong, seconded by Councillor Valentino. Be it resolved that bylaw 2020-022, being a bylaw of the city of Thompson, to amend bylaw 2017-2022, being a bylaw of the city of Thompson to govern the organization of the city of Thompson and the committee thereof, and to regulate the proceedings and conduct of the council and the committees thereof, be given a second reading. Administration?
Yes, as noted, council recently passed this new organization and procedures bylaw. There was a number of concerns that were brought up. The administration has made the changes and those have had their first reading. Tonight is the opportunity for council to have their second potential third reading of this bylaw to make the changes, the amendments to the organ procedure bylaw as requested.
Thank you. Councillor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm not necessarily support the changes, the new bylaw, but the amendment definitely I will be able to support because there's a couple of items that I think is important, even though I didn't agree with the new structure. The feedback is one of the most important things that I think we shouldn't be left out. So I'm glad that this bring it back. And I believe there's a few more items that some of my colleagues would like to make some comment as well. So with that, I can support this amendment. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Fountain?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I certainly agree with Councillor Wong with respect to the reinstatement to the community feedback section. Very important. I'm sad to not see it here today, but from the next meeting onwards, it'll be on there thanks to the amendment to the. In addition to that, I want to say that following rules is important when we're making rules for other people. Increasingly and significantly during this term, we've had difficulty following the rules. And I can point to a number of times where that's occurred. I hope that with this new procedural bylaw in place, that we all get to know what the rules are, what you can and can't do, so that there's fairness for all that are in this chamber and that all have a voice. I think that's really important moving forward, and especially when we want to create an atmosphere where the diversity of thought is respected. Diversity of thought is really important to ensure that you get the best possible result. So I'm pleased to see the amendment. I'm also very pleased about the change with respect to the way council is working with the committee of the whole. Glad to support this and glad to see the inclusion of the missed items from before. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Prue?
Thanks. Yeah, just to reiterate what was said, I believe that it's always good to have less red tape for the public to be able to access us and ask questions. So I'm glad to see these amendments. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Ellsworth?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Certainly in agreement with some of my fellow councillors, I didn't support the committee of the whole. I wouldn't support the committee of the whole. These are not about that tonight. These are about some of the changes. But I will tell you this, it's called democracy. And I am very proud as a councillor in the city of Thompson that we came to our senses and put that back in where the public gets to have a say. In all my years living here and all the organizations I've been in, I have never seen anyone would stop the public from having their say. And so this is a good day for me personally, and certainly it should be a good day for council and the public. And absolutely, we want it done respectfully, but we need to hear about the people that put us in the chairs that we sat in tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councillor McMurdo?
Yeah, just to further to some of the comments that were made already. We might not have all agreed on the organization, but I think that these amendments demonstrate that we have compromised and we have improved the organizational bylaw that we did adopt, and opening up to the public and recognizing 3 to 5 and the number of amendments that are on there, I think are important. So certainly has my support tonight. Thanks.
Thank you. Other councillors? Councillor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Last meeting, when the first reading, I missed the opportunity to thank you, the administration, to do this again, because this is the 3-4 times we've been doing in this term. It's a lot of work. So thank you, Tammy, and put this all together. And yeah, that's the only thing I missed out last time to say that. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, I'm very happy to see us all work together to come up with the changes. It's definitely for the betterment of our city in that. And thank you for all of us working together to get to this stage. So with that being said, let's call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. And with our second reading going through, we can now proceed to the third reading of bylaw 20202022, and it will also be a recorded vote. Resolution 2022-052, moved by Councillor Wong, second by Councillor McMurdo. Be it resolved that bylaw 20202022 be given third and a final reading, and that do now pass. Administration?
Nothing further.
Thank you. Councillor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't have much to say about this, but for the record, like this is the first time that I put up the amendment and get passed, so I'm very happy about it and optimistic about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Colburn?
Well, I've sat here quiet all night, so I might as well say something. This here is, I'm glad to see it back. But it's only a step towards what should be. Because I think the public should sit up on our committees. So it's a change. We got, you know, I don't agree with a lot of them. I'm gonna vote for some of them. I'll vote for some other, but it's not right. And if you can sit here and tell me the committee as a whole is working, then watch it. It is totally not. So this is just another step to get back to where we should be, where the public has got more involved with our council instead of being shut out like they're being. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments, Councillor? Councillor Fountain?
Yeah, just one last follow-up. Actually, that Councillor Colburn's comments are certainly not lost on me. I've had a number of people that had served, and I want to extend a big thank you to those who had served on those committees up to this point. I think it's important that we recognize that that was quite a sacrifice for quite a few people that actually came over the years. Having lost that is certainly unfortunate. And I hope that this new organizational structure doesn't prevent us from bringing people in to provide commentary, expertise, and advisement when necessary, or even when it's not necessary. I hope to see that it should be that way no matter what the structure is. So certainly comments not lost on me, but still glad to support this new structure.
Thank you. The other Deputy Mayor Lamar?
Agree with some of what the previous councilors have said, and I've been catching myself when it comes to the committee of the whole, and I've been lax so far, but I'm hoping to remember all those people that were on those committees and reach out to them when we're entertaining those subjects in the committee of the whole, just to get some feedback on and some advice. And I encourage, and I don't know how we could encourage them to reach out to us as well when they see things that are, if they're paying attention to the items that are coming up on our agendas. I just hope that people will reach out. There's a select number of people that have told each one of us and discuss things with us, and I encourage them to continue to do so. It's good to have some input. I'm sure we all listen. I hope that we can continue to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I know I personally had a couple of our previous members that have reached out and are offered their services if we have any projects moving ahead, that we have said that in the committee of the whole, that we would definitely, there could be times when we do have an independent body work with us to establish some of the things that are going on. So I am looking forward to that. And I think to me, committee of the whole is working with the fact that we're all in the same room, getting the information at the same time. And I think as we work on that, we're having amendments tonight. I think as we work together, that can only improve on different areas. So thank you very much. With that, we'll call for the question. Given a recorded vote, all those in favor? Councillor Colburn, Councillor McMurdo, Councillor Ellsworth, Deputy Mayor Lundmark, Mayor Smook, Councillor Valentino, Councillor Wong, Councillor Fountain.
Aye.
Councillor Prue, carried. 6.6 is the first reading of bylaw 2023-2022, composition of council bylaw. Resolution 2022-053, moved by Councillor McMurdo, seconded by Deputy Mayor Lenmark. Be it resolved that bylaw 2023-2022, being a bylaw of the city of Thompson to establish the composition of council, be introduced and read a first time. City Manager?
At the February 22nd meeting of Committee of the Whole, there was a consensus that the administration bring forward a composition of council bylaw that would reduce the number of councillors from 8 to 6. That was prepared and brought back to the last Committee of the Whole meeting that was held last week, reviewed by council and recommended forward for first reading this evening.
Thank you. Councillor McMurdo?
Yeah, I think this is a worthwhile discussion. With the new organization, we don't have so many chairs and vice chairs that need to be filled. And I think the population of Thompson has declined since the structure of 9 was implemented years ago. Myself, I'm not fully decided on the issue, but I'm going to support it tonight and look forward to more discussion and the feedback portion from the public to see what they think. Thanks.
Thank you. Other councillors? Councillor Ellsworth?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I got to take off my new glasses. I think I never got the right ones. There's an old saying, be careful what you ask for, you might get it. So I took some time today and thought about this, reducing it. So I don't often write remarks, as anyone knows me, but tonight I have. And I've said this, the Committee of the Whole has not been in place long enough to see if it actually works. Therefore, putting a future council at a disadvantage if they decide to go back to regular council meetings. I personally believe that having 8 councillors share the workload in committee structure is important in representing the city. Some may argue that we have decreased to a little over 13,000 people, so we don't need as many councillors. But in reality, we represent a lot more when you look at our budget in regards to emergency services. If that was the argument, then I would argue, why do we need as many administrative positions with such a drop in population over the last few years? It certainly cannot be about numeration that is paid to councillors when we are one of the lowest in the province and certainly across the country. And I had an opportunity to talk to quite a few when we were in, and Mayor Smoot, you were there, when we were in Ottawa, or was it Quebec, I should say, there was a lot of concern and we talked about it there. I believe we are actually offloading work to administration rather than having enough councillors to represent the city, which means in reality, you're handing over the powers of council to some extent to those who were not elected to represent Thompsonites. I cannot support this resolution with the short time we have left in this term. I believe that if we wanted to reduce councillors, we should have debated this earlier in the term and certainly would have had a lot more time to discuss it if we had the Committee of the Whole back then. And so therefore, I will not support it. And I think it's unfair. And I'm going to ask that we table the resolution.
So is that a motion to table?
That is a motion.
Is there a seconder to this motion, table the resolution? Councillor
I'll
Colbert?
second.
Madam Mayor, point of privilege, please. Just to note that should this be tabled, it would mean that it will not be able to impact the next election.
I was just gonna make that call or ask Anthony. If we do table this tonight, there's a chance that it won't be able to pass in time for the next election.
I believe the 180-day deadline is April 29th, so it has to pass before the end of April. There'll still be a few more opportunities, but typically a first reading is brought forward to allow the further debates if something is going to pass or not. But that's all to council's prerogative.
Thank you. Okay, so I guess our first motion was moved by Councillor Ellsworth, seconded by Councillor Colbert. Is the motion to table it? So all those in favor of tabling this? Okay, we've got 3, and motion to continue with the resolution as it's written tonight.
Aye.
Okay, we will continue with the resolution in its first reading tonight. So being through that, do I have any more comments before we vote on it, Councilor McMurdo?
I just had a question through the chair too, and then there will be a public hearing. We discussed it a bit in committee of the whole, and I don't think Evan was entirely sure if there was a public hearing or what, but there is with this bylaw change, an opportunity for public feedback between this first reading and any additional second and third. Is that correct?
In terms of this sort of bylaw, it'll be a public notice. So there isn't a formal hearing, it's a notice.
Okay, well, thank you. So I encourage anybody from the public to reach out and provide your feedback to any councilors and mayor sitting here. We're definitely open to the feedback. Thank you.
And I did make note of that last Thursday on my report on Thursday, City Beat, and we'll do so again this week. And I encourage them to talk to everybody. And Councilor Valentino, you had your hand up before, and I'm sorry I missed you.
Oh, that's good. Thanks, Mayor Smith. Yeah, I like the whole idea of passing this tonight so we can get some insight from the public, do some more of our own. I don't know, if you want to try and find more information. I know through administration, you can also reach out to the AMM office to see the structure of other councils within our province and what numbers they're running at. If we want to make a comparison somewhat for more information, but to get this up on the table, I'll be supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anthony?
Thank you, Worship. Also to notice that correspondence can be sent to the mayor and council, and that be brought forward to council as well. So if people don't want to get a hold of the councillor, it could be sent to City Hall, addressed to the mayor and council, and we would bring that forward.
Thank you. Councilor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm not necessarily agree, reduce or disagree, but this is the opportunity to give the thought to the table. At least we don't miss the time. And I do share the concern of Councillor Ellsworth. As a matter of fact, beginning of the term, I did approach the mayor. I asked her about, are we still doing that, reducing? And last term, I was one of the council that agreed to reduce. And there's a few factors. One is because of the population. And second, I did set on a few different board, and throughout those time, they do have some study about the size of the board. And apparently, due to the study, if we all believe the study, the biggest board is a less productive decision made. The smaller board is a better decision productive made. So that's one of the factors that I kind of like, let's do it. Like, why not, right? And also I noticed I've been following politics locally quite close ever since Bill Kamaski. And I noticed a lot of time that a lot of people, when they come to voting time, they don't really pay attention to the candidate. And I think this, I could be wrong. This is my opinion. Reducing the number could be giving the voter a little bit more pay attention to the selection rather than just a check mark, because you have 8 others council to be fulfill the rule, so they just mark. Could be end up some is not really have a credential of doing a right decision. So that's what I learned, and that's what I see. So that's why I would like to support this reducing for this first reading, and hopefully some council, whoever not supporting, can bring up a better, not better, but at least give us some time to discuss further. So with that, and not much to
Thank
add.
you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Deputy Mayor Lumber?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm not completely decided yet either. We had a year during this term where not all of the councillors wanted to sit on committee meetings. It was tough. When we had all those committees, and it wasn't all of us chairing or vice chairing. But with that, we still made decisions, we got things done with fewer councils. Not to say that they didn't all participate, right? But it was a little tougher doing that. Right now, with community of the whole, the number of meetings we've had have been productive. Not saying that we necessarily fought through really big issues yet during those meetings yet. And we'll see how those things go forward. We have a few more meetings before we have to make a decision on this and do the second and third reading. And I'm looking forward and I hope to reach out to some people and see what they think. And maybe get some feedback from the public and do some more research myself. And look forward to change, and we'll see how it goes soon.
Thank you. Councilor Colburn.
Well, I got to disagree with Councilor Unmark here on people not participating. Once you know the reason why I didn't participate, then you wouldn't talk like that. I want to participate in all the things in this council. I wanted to learn, like I turned away. So, you know, the 6 councillors, 8 councillors, it don't matter. It's gonna be like this bill is gonna be pushed through by the majority. And there's not a lot of people like me who don't want to do it. There's nothing we can say. We can argue with it 3 times. But still gonna pass because that's what this council does. And if you go down to 6 councillors, it's gonna be the same thing. It's not like a board, it's political. So you get your sides, right? And here's another step to step in and change the organizational bylaw. Instead of putting public works or public safety on the agenda, now we're dealing with this again, right? Which is not even no need of. I think we got a lot of people here, if their talents are used right, this council would really function right. But hey, I don't support this because it should be even past this first law. It shouldn't even be on the thing, right? So I won't be supporting the adjournment. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Blumberg, you'd like to speak a second time?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I take exception. I did say that some of those councillors did participate. They just refused to take a chair or a vice chair.
Thank you. Councilor Elford.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Some of the comments can be troubling, but I will ask, I'm not looking for an answer. We all know the answer. How many times have we reviewed the organization and procedure bylaw in this term? At least 3, 4 now. We started off with, I don't say off the top of my mind, at least 7 committees. Things didn't work. Went down to 6 committees or 5 committees. Things didn't work. I did an audit to see what the attendance was like. That didn't look very good. I didn't make it public because I had too much respect for the council. Didn't make it public. 6, 8, what you need is a commitment to the work that we've been charged to do by the Thompsonites, by the taxpayer. That's what you need. And for the record, you can't really look at the committee of the whole, and I know we're not at that right now, and say it's working. You haven't tested that. If that was the case, there's a lot of things in life that wouldn't be done. I've seen us go through many structures of safety net committees until you got the right one that actually did something, that showed it did something. So I'm not here going to be persuaded that by going down to 6 councillors, that you're going to run this city the way it should be. I have talked to the public, and we all do. We all do, every one of us, and we should. And they have talked to me about it, but they see, it's one thing to want to talk to the public, but if you say to them, well, it'll reduce the amount of money that you got to pay for councillors, that's a whole different story, because most people don't understand what we do there. But we have to take the time to explain that if we were back to regular meetings, structured regular meetings, you need a lot more than 6 people. To your point, Councillor Lumber, you just can't do it. It is a struggle. And so that's my concern, that we get to the point that a new council comes in and says within the first 6 months that they want to go back and review that, and there's enough support, and go back to committee structure. Now you avert yourself as a council because you only got 6 instead of 8. I say it's too late. It's got nothing to do with I'm for or against 6 or 8. It has nothing to do with it. It's too late in the term to determine if that's a good thing or bad thing. We don't have enough information. We don't have enough time as a committee of the whole to determine that. Not at all. And I think it's absolutely wrong. And I certainly won't support it. First, second, or third, and you can put that down on record. It won't happen. We were elected to represent the people of Thompson. And with all due respect, and I do have a lot of respect for our administration, they weren't elected to do that. We were. So be careful when you say, let's reduce the number of counselors, then we say, do we need to restructure all over the city? Because we only got 13,000. That's a statement that's been made in this chamber tonight. We've reduced. Where in fact, we passed a resolution to go back out there and see if our census is right. To me, we're not making sense of what we're doing. We're just not making sense. You can't look at one piece of the city and not look at the rest of it. I like to be in a conversation where we look at the whole city, starting with the mayor and council, right on down through the organization. Because I could very well come here tonight and say, there's a lot of things that we're doing we can't afford because we don't have enough tax dollars. Don't have enough tax dollars. And it's going to be a rough ride ahead. So I certainly can't support it for the obvious reasons I've expressed. And we can't see through it, then I am all about democracy. If this council wants to make a decision for the council that's coming in a few months, then you have that right. You have that right. But I won't be party to that. That's not going to happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other councilors? Councilor Wong?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I believe last committee meeting, before we decide to put this on tonight, and we did ask the question to the administration to get the city to do the survey to see is there a lot of people agree, support, or disagree. So I think that's not a very hard task to do it. Just put up a survey on our city's website to say reducing to 6, see how many people agree or disagree that. So at least there's another factor that we can look into it. I understand the Councillor Ellsworth's passion about this. I'm struggling a bit too about that part what you say, but also there's a lot of things we can change. Even the community whole is not a factor of the number. And like I said, I don't want to get into so much of debate tonight. It's just basically just a kind of like a formality to meet the deadline. So that way, I personally can support for this first reading. As like I said earlier, it's not necessarily agree or disagree, just to have a conversation. So, Madam Mayor, can I have that suggestion to be directed to the administration to do that, the survey?
I think if everybody was in agreement is how that would have to work. If we're in agreement to give direction to the administration to do a survey.
So gotta be immediately done.
By a show of hands, do we have support for that?
This will be the second time we
Yes.
have the old.
All right. So thank you.
Thank you, Madam
Anthony?
Mayor. Appreciate that.
Anthony?
Yeah, the administration was already planning to do so after this first reading. So it'd be proper for council to decide if they're having the first reading or not. And then we would put up that survey to support what you've requested.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Fountain?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Certainly appreciate the passion around the room. I certainly don't agree with a lot of the comments made. Let's not pretend, Madam Mayor, that this organization worked for the last 3 years. You only have to look back 4 months ago to see that it didn't. And I was part of that on the opposite side. And I'm saying that from that minority side, that it didn't work for us either. And this is why I'm a little confused, is the structure. This is about the number of counselors, but it's also paired with the way the organization is structured and how meetings occur. So that you couldn't do one without the other. And I certainly agree with other counselors who oppose this, that with the old structure, this was probably problematic. Not probably, it would be problematic. That old structure, though, when you're talking about it, didn't work for a lot of people. If we want to attract professional people who have jobs during the day to sit and serve their community on council, they're not going to be coming when you've structured 5 meetings throughout the week on a monthly basis. That didn't work. For me as a professional working with the Valley, I found it extremely frustrating to not be able to come in to vote on certain things, because there actually was quite a bit of important work being done in the committees. The other thing was the structure of the committees and the way that those committees were formed is in my mind problematic as well. You had a small number of people that could control what would come to council. Now, on the committee of whole, everyone gets to sit and have a say on what makes it to the council chambers for the actual council meeting coming out of the committee of the whole. There's so many reasons to proceed with this. I don't want anyone for any second to pretend that this was a functioning group of people prior to this new structure. This new structure may not work either. That's absolutely possible. But to pretend that things were better back then is definitely not factual. Thank you.
Thank you. Anthony?
My apologies, my hand was still up.
Okay, sorry about that. Any other councilors? Okay, I am in favor of this. There was a time when we talked with our last administration, when I was just a counselor, that it was talked about going down to 6 counselors for municipal rules. We couldn't in that. At that time, I wasn't in favor of it, just based on the committees and that you had to have so much commitment from that. Now with us with committee of the whole, we all get our say in the room at the same time. Not saying that we all agree at the same time, but at least we're all there as part of that initial decision. And I guess this is our, our third thing we've tried. I guess it shows that we are resilient as a council, because when things don't work, we have been willing to move ahead and try something different. So we are trying the third thing going. We did prove over the last couple of years that we could function with 6 councillors on committees officially. So it's just, I think, just the next move forward. This one here is to get the public interested, to get the public, basically the public is our boss. They're the ones that are going to talk, and we have to show them the pros and cons of what is having 6 or 8 councillors. That's up to each and every one of them to listen to the public and see what they want to do. So with that being said, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Wasn't that supposed to be recordable? No, first read.
No, it's only first reading. Okay. With that, conclusion of the agenda, I would like to call for adjournment. Councilor Valentino, all those in favor? Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Okay.